think we all know by now that cold calling and door knocking are not a great fit for every single real estate agent, but you still have to generate leads. So let's talk about some ways that you can actually generate local leads who are going to be the people who are going to be buying and selling from you either now or in the future without having to feel like you're giving up your soul, pounding out the phones day by day by day, knocking on a million doors, going out into situations where you feel like you might not be the most safe and spending the most practical amount of time doing lead generation strategies. So we're talking about 5 ways that you can generate real estate leads that are local to you or going to be local to you without cold calling or door knocking. The very first way that I recommend that real estate agents generate local leads is through Facebook groups. Now, hear me out. A lot of people think when I say Facebook, they're like, Facebook is dead, Facebook is old, it's outdated. But let me tell you that Facebook groups is one of the biggest contributors to my personal business, my leads that have come in, my real estate leads, even my leads that have come in from other people who are referring me to buyers and sellers in the area. So I want to talk about how you can use Facebook groups to generate local leads and to be really intentional with your time. So you have one of 2 options. You can use your own Facebook group and you can build that up, which is its own strategy. And I do have videos and trainings on that. And in fact, I'm teaching on Facebook groups and how to start your own local Facebook group that generates leads inside of the Breakout Agent Real Estate Marketing membership in the month of September. But you can also use other people's Facebook groups. So if you are new to an area or you haven't built up your own Facebook group, you can go and be really intentional. Now, you want to be in local groups with your ideal client. So if you are looking for, families, you're going to want to be in moms groups, parenting groups, area groups for families, things like that. If you are looking for somebody maybe like that's bachelors or bachelorettes, like young, single, working professionals, you're going to want to be in more of the groups tailored to that conversation. But I also want you to think about your life stage and who you're going to be able to relate to most, because more often than not, when you are creating this group or you are in these groups, you want to be able to talk about more than just real estate, because somebody may be thinking about moving or looking for advice in a certain area that is not specific to real estate, but then you are able to contribute conversation that they find really valuable. It helps you to connect to them. And then when it's appropriate, you can offer lead magnets that are going to bring them into your network a little bit further to solidify that relationship. So think about who your ideal client is. Think about who you are able to have conversations with in a more effortless way, where it's not just about real estate, because your goal here is to connect with people who are local, who are in that phase of life where your ideal client is at, that you can have conversations with and then lead them into your community and your network with a relevant lead magnet that they are going to find valuable. So that is the first way, is to use Facebook groups. I, of course, am partial to growing your own Facebook group, but I also have personally generated a lot of leads being very valuable and being a top contributor and just giving away information, sharing tips and advice when people are asking questions in relevant Facebook groups for the person that I am trying to attract into my network. It is time for you to break out. Whether you're a new real estate agent or you're coming back into the business, maybe you've taken a break, you've taken the time to raise your kids, you're coming back into the industry, and now the industry is changing, the industry is different, and you feel like you are just not being seen. It is time for you to become visible both online with your marketing and within your local community, for people to know that you are the go-to for all things local and real estate. And that is why I created the Breakout Agent. This is a monthly real estate marketing membership and community for real estate agents. And I want to tell you real quick what's inside. Every single month inside the Breakout Agent, you are going to get access to a new pre-recorded video masterclass that is going to go over a content marketing topic There are going to be new templates and resources available for you to use in your marketing, whether those be campaigns, email marketing templates, or even social media prompts, scripts, video scripts, and templates for you to use. Now, on top of that, I don't want you to overlook the fact that this is a growing community of like-minded real estate professionals coming together, because I know that when you do something in a community, when you have relationships around you and you can connect with other people, you are more likely to better implement what you're learning. You're better able to retain the information you're learning, but it also is something where you're going to be more motivated to participate and have those relationships, which is going to create an environment for you to continue to grow and develop your skills, your real estate marketing strategies, and also for you to build an amazing professional network, because I know in real estate, your network is everything. If you want to make more money in real estate, having a network both of local people to sell homes to, but also nationally and worldwide to refer business to is so critical. So if you're looking for community and support, encouragement and motivation, but you also want real content marketing strategies to help you to break out from the crowd, to have an amazing year in real estate, and to really become visible online and within your local community, come join the Breakout Agent membership. I would love to have you, and I am so excited to support you in your real estate marketing and your real estate career. The next way that I would recommend that you generate local leads for your real estate business would be to create some kind of local guide, what it's like to live in your area for your ideal client. So really what we're doing is we're kind of layering this lead generation strategy, because a lot of the times this is the guide that you are going to be offering when you are in these groups on Facebook, whether it's your own group or it's another group. You're going to have a local guide for that niche. So if your niche is families, you're going to want to create some kind of family guide or mom guide. Let's say a mom's guide to living in Jacksonville, Florida, a mom's guide to living in Boise, Idaho, right? Or family-friendly Boise, Idaho events and things to do. You want to think about what they care about. Now, somebody who's downsizing, you might want to create something like, a list or a guide to downsizing and things to do in retirement in your area. You want it to be really specific to them, but not specific necessarily to real estate, because when somebody is thinking about buying or selling and you're offering just a real estate guide, they are likely already looking at working with, talking to a bunch of agents at this point. If they haven't already hired somebody, they're already further down that process. You want to really focus on people who are up here, who are very broad, haven't quite decided on the exact time frame or the exact location or agent that they're going to be working with. You want to give them a more general, local and lifestyle combined guide to bring more local people up top, to give you more opportunities to build that relationship with them and nurture them as they get closer to making that buying decision. So this is something where I have done this. I had 2 different guides or lead magnets, if you will, that I provided. Now, one group I had, it's called Dog Moms Phoenix. So what I did was I offered a dog-friendly events list that I would send out every so often via email to my group members when they joined the group. This got me hundreds of local email addresses and names for people living in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Now, the other guide that I did was a seasonal guide every single year for things to do in the fall in Phoenix. So this would be pumpkin patches, Halloween lists, farmers markets, just general events, even like decor guides, places to shop. Because after the summer, people have been cooped up all summer here when in Phoenix when it's hot. People love fall. It's always a trending topic no matter where you're at. And I combined that and I offered that in moms groups that I was part of. I offered that in a local group of mine, which is just about events and places to eat around the Phoenix, Arizona area. And again, this was able to help me generate hundreds of leads to my email list that are local people that I could then continue to email and nurture and market to over time. So you want to combine this strategy. You kind of want to layer up these different items that we're talking about today to really speak to your ideal client and offer them a really fun lifestyle, local related guide that they are going to be interested in, even if they are not ready to make a real estate decision. So once you have come up with your lead magnet, you've figured out who your ideal client is, and you're talking with them in Facebook groups, online, on Facebook, and you're offering these lead magnets. Then what I want you to do is go into content creation mode and create content that you can then attract more people in from different platforms, different avenues in as a real estate agent using this same strategy, but now instead of you going to the people, you're trying to bring them into you. So let's say that you choose to start with YouTube. So let's say you have a guide for a local seasonal guide for families. I'm going to use this guide this example because I can easily come up with this example on the spot. You have a guide that is local living for families in area. And let's say it's for a certain season, because you could literally update this 3 to 4 times a year and have something that continues to bring in people every single month if you were to do one for every single season. And it wouldn't be hard. You can copy it, just adjust the season. So let's say you're going to go to YouTube and you want to create a guide or a video about this guide, right? So you're going to create a list type video. Now you can get B-roll, which is just video of you out and about, maybe at a couple of the places that you're going to mention. But if you don't have it, you could also look at just getting stock video or stock photos to pop up. But you could also just record yourself on Zoom, talking to the camera and talking about the top 5 or 10 things to do during the season for families in your city. And what you want to do throughout this guide throughout this video is just mention that you have this guide available and you want to link it in the comments. So of course you want to have them sign up and get your email address or get their email address onto your email list so you can stay in contact with them. And then you can send them other relevant information about the area and then of course real estate down the way. But what this is doing is you are now taking something that you know has worked on other platforms. You've had other people download it. You've had people interested in it on Facebook and you've directly communicated with people. You know that this is something people are interested in. Now you're trying to find the people who are specifically searching for that information. And what happens is a lot of the times the people that are searching for this information are people who are either thinking about moving, relocating, whether from a different part of your town or state, or they're even relocating from out of state and they're not super familiar with the area. So now your YouTube video can act as a magnet with people who are specifically searching for that information to bring in more people, more of your ideal client with that same lead magnet that you're using in Facebook groups. Now you're putting it out there and having more people coming directly to you to make it a more passive lead generation strategy. Now, once you've done this, you want to go and then create some kind of piece of content, either a page with a pop-up form or just a blog post on your website. You want to do pretty much the same thing you've done on YouTube, but you want to do a video version or a written version instead of a video version of this. So on YouTube, you've done a talking version of this. Every single time that season comes around now, this video, if it does well, is likely to circulate back up in search. But on your blog, on your website, you want to do a written version, a written guide, and then offer them a longer, more in-depth version when they sign up for your email list. So I talked about these search capabilities acting as a magnet on YouTube. Your blog is going to do the same thing, but you're going to have this be a written version because some people do prefer to read blogs when it comes to a list of events and things to do. And some people are going to prefer a video format. So you want to be able to attract people in multiple different ways, because the person who's watching the video is likely not the same type of person who's going to be reading the blog post. So what this then allows you to do is kind of take your ideal client, but take their different, consumption patterns and their different buying patterns and appeal to different versions of those consumption patterns and the buying patterns to make sure that you're kind of covering your bases. And now what you're doing is you're becoming really, really specific in who you are attracting, who you are bringing in, because you're bringing in all of these different people they may buy different, they may consume information different, but you're becoming very specific in who you are attracting in. And so you're attracting people with different formats and different strategies, but you're getting really good at serving one niche, one ideal person before you start spreading yourself out. And the way that this works for me is, if you think about, building a house and you've got your foundation and you're then, building everything on top of it. If you have a foundation, everything is really strong and it stands together, right? And it builds this beautiful, strong house. But if you don't have the foundation, you're going to have problems, right? Well, that's essentially what you're doing, is building your lead generation foundation on something that's really strong, solid material that is going to hold everything in place, versus when you're, doing one thing on Facebook over here and one thing on YouTube over here, and then you've got TikTok and Instagram, and you're all over the place with different messages on different places. It ends up being really shaky because you're not able to continue to go in depth for that one ideal person. So this is really something that you can layer up and build up, and it's creating a very strong foundation and strategy. And then what you do off of this is you kind of take a couple of main points. And for the fifth way, you're using social media with this local content, and you're creating short versions, whether that would be a short video or a little bullet point list that you're posting on Instagram, or, a sliding carousel on Instagram or TikTok, right? And you're creating shorter versions, and you can either then push them to either sign up for that same lead magnet, or you can even push them to one of these more specific long form pieces of content, either on your website or on your YouTube channel, to get more in-depth information. Because Instagram and TikTok content moves so quickly, you're not generating as much trust, so they might not quite be ready to download that guide. But if you say, hey, I have the guide, but also if you want a video all about this, I have a full YouTube video. Or if you want a blog post guide, right? And automatically, with it being that longer form content where it's taking more time to consume, that just generates more trust versus a 60-second clip on TikTok or Instagram where people are swiping up so fast, going to the next piece of content and the next piece of content, and you're able to really bring them in from a different platform and really start solidifying that relationship and giving them the information that they want and they're interested in, and then continuing to really just bring them in from different places, all into one place, which should go back to your email list. And then from your email list, you can start sending them more content and then nurturing them over time. I know I talked in this video a lot about that local guide and really being able to offer that on multiple different platforms and using different types of content to generate local leads. And you may be thinking, well, Braden, I really want to get people to want to download my buyer guide or my seller guide or my new construction guide. Like, what about that? But I want to explain to you why this local content is so important and why it works when you are trying to generate local leads, especially as a newer agent or as an agent that doesn't really have an established database or sphere of influence. So I want you to watch this next video about creating local content and why local content works so well for real estate agents, and why for me local content should be one of your main pillars to grow your email list and to start generating local leads in your area. I think that it's going to be really helpful to you, and then after that we can start talking about the process of getting people to asking you about downloading those buyer guides, seller guides, and new construction guides. So go check out that video on local content, and I will see you next time.